Hello, hello. Hello, bienvenue, welcome on YouTube. This is Skoogmusic with our webinar today. We're looking at sampling. I'm going to flip these around because I'm getting weird feedback. Is that better? Is that better? Yeah, that's better. Okay, so Ben from Skoog here. I'm here to cater to all your sampling needs. So let's get started. Quickly, if you're viewing, then this is a Skoog. It's a tactile USB device, has a software platform, and is a musical instrument for teaching, learning, having fun with, being creative. And we're just here to show you a few different bits and pieces you can do with it. One of the things it can do is use samples. And you can either use pre-existing samples or record your own samples in. You can edit them, manipulate them, pitch them, do all kinds of groovy stuff. So let's get going and have a look at that. I'm going to switch to a screen sharing mode so that you guys can see what I am up to. There we go. Let's start the screen share. There we go. Now, is it possible for me to not have to see that? That would be good. Okay, so now we've got a video feed here, me touching Skoog. I do just need to keep one of these windows just a little bit active so I can kind of see that it's at least still live in there. Let's do that so we can see that. Okay, so Skoogmusic website. One thing to mention in reference to sampling, there are lots and lots of free things you can download from our website in terms of lesson plans, sample packs, backing tracks. So you go to the sample packs tab at the bottom of the resources page. There's a bunch of stuff down here in terms of using pre-existing samples, which is maybe where we'll start off with. I've already downloaded a couple of these to start off with. If we start with the female vocal pack, let's do that. But all of these are free to Skoog users. Get online, download. They've all got instructions, PDFs written, lovingly crafted by Maggie. But let's just have a quick look. So this is the Skoog software environment. I'm going to go to my Skoog window here, and with my mouse, I'm just going to select the sampling mode. So at the moment, it's in instrument mode. It's playing flute. I've got my sensitivity controls now. Click those up a bit. Now the sampling is here, where the little microphone is. There we go. There's my sample tab. And if I open another window to get some samples in. So first of all, we're going to look at using pre-existing samples. And instead of using the Skoog with one of its instrument settings, where you say choose it to be a cello or a flute or something like that, and assign notes to it, what we're going to do is we're going to load sounds into the buffers for each of these colored surfaces. So without further ado, let's have a look. Let's go to my desktop. I've got a resources pack here with some samples in it. And let's do female singer. Okay. So if I look at do, re, mi, I've got some nice pre-recorded do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do bits. So we'll start off with the do, lo. And in order to load a pre-existing sample, something you've already got recorded, something you download from the website, or you bought, or you use, in a different way, you just take the sample and you drag it to the color that you want. Well, let's do it. I'm going to do it onto a side that you can see. Let's put it onto yellow. So I drag it there, and boom, there it is. Now you can see, as soon as I drag something into this window, the sample mode engages. So when this is off, it's not playing samples. When this is on, we should get a lovely do. That's some do. There we go. So we've got that in there, and it's literally as easy as that. You can see the wave when you tap it. You can see the cursor playing through. Now, at the moment, there are 3 different ways of playing samples with the interactivity of the Skoog device. At the moment, it's on this mode, which is tap, which is just kind of triggering. So I just tap it, it triggers. It is velocity sensitive. So you can hear, if I press it gently, it triggers it quietly. If I press it with more force, it's louder. Okay. The degree of variation you have in that will depend on how you have your sensitivity set. So if I turn my sensitivity down, actually, then I will get more. Getting louder. So there's things you can do with that, yada yada yada. So if we just drag some different samples on, and literally just drag them to the colour that you want. There we go, and then we can play them.
So, mi, do, mi, do, mi, do, mi, do.
Okay, and you can trigger them off that way. And other things that we have here is we can take samples and we can pitch them. So this is pitch up and down in semitones. I can go up. Let's do it on the yellow one so you can see. Can I go up? I can go down. Okay. I can adjust those individually for each one. In reference to pitch adjustment, I can also follow the keyboard tab. So by clicking this, it will then pitch them relative to whatever I've got loaded in the keyboard selection, and that can either be a scale or a preset of notes, and you can use the transpose and tuning adjustments as you wish there. So now we've got... Okay. Sample mode will also work in poly, so we can have a little choir going, which is pretty awesome. So I can change the pitch, I can do that. If I've got samples loaded in, I can save them as a pack of samples and then load those in later. Let's clear the sample buff on. Before we do that, let's have a look at this. So this is just tapping. I'm triggering. This is press and hold. Now this is like press and hold switch function. It plays for as long as I'm holding the surface down. And this is something very, very exciting called scrubbing. So this gives us tactile control and manipulation of samples. And so if I begin to press my yellow, do all kinds of stuff with it. So what you're doing is you can see there we've got you can actually play around with where the playhead is and adjust the samples. It allows you to be creative with the different types of things you put in, all kinds of stuff you can do there. So that's the kind of core functionality of loading samples in. Let's have a look at recording our own samples in. And this is where it starts to get really interesting and also functional and useful in cross-curricular contexts. And with these, I mean, you could use a standard British phoning bank, English phoning bank for this and start putting words together. You know, and have them assembling that way, bringing in color, using interactivity that way. But let's look at recording. Now, down here on the bottom left is a clear all sample buffers. You will note that, as usual with the Skoog software, if you're patient and you hover over a button before you click it, it will try and give you a little indication of what that icon, what that button does. So this one says clear all sample buffers. Let's get rid of that. And now I want to go to recording. Now, before I go to record, and this is recording into the software, not recording your performance. To record your performance, use the big button in the audio bar. I just want to check, and this is something you should check beforehand, that my audio setup is done in such a way that I can actually get audio into my Skoog software. I do that by going up to settings here, in the top of the screen. Click settings. There is only one option. It's audio. I go here, and this gives my audio settings panel. Now, there's a few different things on here. Sometimes it can have a few more options on Windows, but they're usually fairly self-explanatory. What I need to do is here set the input device or input driver and input source. And so I'm saying input device, built-in microphone, input source, internal microphones. That means that I can get sound in. Okay. If that said SoundCloud 2 channel, or if there was nothing selected in one of these, then obviously you wouldn't be able to record in. And that can happen sometimes when you get a SoundCloud set up on a Windows machine and it's not selected the correct input device. If you are having problems recording in, my initial advice, and although it sounds fairly, it is the best thing to do, which is to go to this panel and simply cycle through the options. So if there's only going to be a finite number, 4 or 5 different options on the audio input or settings list, and so try a few, go back, click record, make a sound, see if that works. Okay. So what I mean, let's show it not working. Actually, let's do this. So I'm going to select Soundflower, which will mean that I won't get sound in. Never mind that. So now, if I click record, where my machine's set up. Let's go over that again. I want that's because I've got I have it set up for this webinar thing so that it's actually picking those things up. I don't think there's any way of me doing it. Maybe with the eyesight. I think that's got a that's got a mic on it as well. I was trying to show it not working, but it appears that my machine is behaving itself today. So imagine if I was to record and there was nothing in that window, then it means you've not recorded anything. You have to see the WAV file. Anyway, so let's crack on and let's record something in like we were doing. So to record, there's a record button beside each coloured buffer. There we go. Click record, make a sound. No! Make that. There we go. You don't have to make that particular sound, but that's the sound I've chosen to make. And now, I'm moving too quickly here. So now on my red side, which one you can't see here, record, make a sound. No! That doesn't sound very good, does it? Let's do that again. Let's clear that. Let's check my settings actually, because I think that's because I'm using the eyesight. Let's go built-in microphone. Let's do that. That'll be a much better quality. Let's try that. No! Oh. No! Rich and sonorous. That's what the tone is. So there we go. Recorded in, and I've got my sound bite, as it were. Now, if I don't want the space at the beginning that I can see here or the space at the end, then I can simply, using my mouse, click and drag over the WAV file to select the portion that I want. And now, I'm going to turn sensitivity up here a bit. One more. Better. There we go. So I've got my section I want, and then I can edit that. So I can choose to trim it, to cut away the bits that I don't want, and I can say do that. So I can go. There we go. I can reverse it using this button. Okay. And there I have it in. Again, I can pitch it and do stuff with it. The important thing here is that once I've recorded or loaded the samples into the buffers that I want, I can save it using the save icon down here, the save button. It saves it as a folder, and then you can use it later. So one thing that people have asked recently, often in reference to Skoog, let's do a couple of little quick exercises of things that we've been asked to do. One is here are the Skoog instruments, and somebody said, well, I'd like to have the flute sound on one side, marimba on the other, and some strings on the other. So the easy way to, well, you can't do that with these instruments out here. You can do it with sampling. So I'm going to show you quickly how to do that. If you want to keep, so let's do it where we're keeping a pentatonic preset scale as well. Very quickly, let's do C major because it's a very utilitarian scale here. So now we've got. Okay, so I want the orange to be flute and to be that note. So what I'm going to do is very quickly using this recording here of the performance. Do a quick recording of the flute. I'm going to select that. I'm going to trim it. Where's my trimming? There we go. Play it, check it. There we go. I'm going to save it. I'm going to call it flute. And let's make that one orange. Just for my own. Oh, I'm this thing in this booth where I have two keyboards, and I invariably use the wrong one. This is the right one up here. So flute. There we go. Look at that. Let's get that done. Flute, and we'll say orange. Here we go. Let's stick on the desktop for now. Save. Good. Done. And then on the green, let's have clarinet. And again. Stop. Highlight. Trim. Save. Clarinet. The colours I'm typing in here are simply for my own reference. Okay, we'll just see why in a minute. Let's have violin on the yellow. Now remember, with the selection of instruments, you do have to wait for the selection box to appear. There we go. It took a little moment there. And have that in yellow. And remember, I'm doing. Oh. Now I made a mistake there. Let's go back. Go back to clarinet. And because I want clarinet to be the green note green note from the C major scale, I need to play the green note when I record it. There we go. Before I did it on the orange, didn't I? So orange, green. Let's do that. Why are you... Whoa. That was weird. Let's try that again. Sorry, just an odd out of Skoog experience. There we go. Yeah. It was funny because that button there was flashing and it shouldn't have been. Anyway, moving on. Let's edit that. Edit him. There we go. Saving to disk. We shall just have a look here so we can use the file name of clarinet green. There we go. Save. Replace. Yes, please. Thank you very much. Moving on to yellow. Violin. Wait for the selection box to appear. Waiting. We're waiting. We're waiting. We're waiting still. We have the spinning blue wheel of death. Ah, there we go. I was going to get a sip of coffee in there. So now I want this on yellow. Okay, and I'm actually also trying to keep the note lengths roughly the same size, which will make sense in a minute. Let's do that. Let's save it. Save it. Save it. 5-0 yellow. Boom. There we go. And let's do the next. I'm just going to do the next one's cello and or bass here because I can't. Oh, come on. Select. Select. Have a coffee then. Oh, every time. Just a second. Right. I had a cup of coffee. Is my hand coming into shot there? I'm slightly worried. Is this broadcasting? Yes, it is. Yes, it's a bit behind. There we go. So cello on red here. This is taking longer than I anticipated. There we go. Save him. Bom bom bom. Cello on blue. It's not taking so long. And again, this is something you can do ahead of time. We should maybe. Hey, there's a note. Maggie. Note to Maggie. Note to self. We should do some of these packs. Actually, as little sample packs. I'll get Maggie to do that. Or I could do it, I suppose, but I'm going to be away tomorrow in Glasgow. And double bass on the red. Come on, come on, come on. You can do it. You can do it. There we go. Right, record. There we go. I kind of messed that one up a little bit, but let's go with it. Go with the people. Red. Bass. Oh no, we've been doing all that, haven't we? Bass. Red. Okay, so now I've recorded a little soundbite of each of the instruments. I can now go to my sampler, clear sampler, go to my desktop, and if I do this by date, is that date? There we go. There we go. Name, yeah, date modified. Oh, I'm in downloads. It's not the right place to be. So there they are. So I go bass red. I just drag that to red. I go cello, and we go. And I do cello blue. I just drag him there. Weirdly, it's doing something weird with the truncating there. Let's sort him out. Fine. Let's sort you out. There we go. And yellow, 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 yellow. Who is yellow again? Violin yellow. There we go. Again, just needs. Slightly. And clarinet green. And flute. Flute. Come on, flute. Where are you? Flute orange. There we go. And now I should have. There we go. I've got a little set of instruments all on different size. Again, you could pitch that now. I've done that as a scale, but you know what would have been smarter is to do them all just as middle C, and then I could use the pitching functions and they would accurately pitch it. So there's a tip for you if you're doing this, and maybe we should do that. Actually, that's what we should do. So the packs, we should do some packs, some sample packs that have lots of different instruments recorded at different note lengths. Ooh, this is a good set of packs, good set of sample packs. We'll do these. Different note lengths you can choose from, You know what? It should be a bit like the notation pack. So you've got your semi-breves, your dotted mids, your crotchets. Anyway, there you go. That's a way of doing that. Last thing to look at, and I want to talk about this autism case study that I said I would chat about. So that's a little thing we've been asked to do. The other thing is recording voice in and manipulating voice. It's often requested. Or here's a good one. You can do a raspberry or orchestra. So we can go. There we go. Put that in there, and then we have our little. Now, if you record into the red buffer, you can use this copy to all button. Nice to do that. And if we say follow keyboard, we should pitch that down a bit. Let's get a bit of. And actually, I might, if I try this one. There we go. Polling instrument. Good for playing around. So I was going to show you something to do with recording your voice. Yes, I want to show you scrubbing and using simple vocalization. So let's clear these again. Let's reset the keyboard note selection thing. I'm going to record a simple sound, a simple vocalization, similar to someone might make when PMLD contacts, when you contact someone that doesn't vocalize a great deal, but often vocalizes when engaging in music. That's my sound. There we go. Got a hymn. There we go. Trim it. There we go. Trim it again. And now I'm going to go copy to all. And now I'm going to go scrub. Now this gives me a tactile control of the sound I've made. See, as I'm pressing the yellow buffer there, you can see it moving around. That allows me to play with the sound that I've made, as in play, manipulate it, change it, bend it to my will, as it were. So now, if I go into poly here and pitch these, I can start having some real. Now I can start having some really creative. The other thing is, it will pitch it, it will make these right spacings, but the actual note may not be C or G as you see here, because it's relative to the sounds that you record in terms of the way the pitching works. So you can simply use the sliders, transpose and tune them. Changing those and moving these around, and use your ear to tune it to the range that you need, and then you can actually enable people who maybe don't have great control of their voice to be able to sing and be creative with others using their voice. And that's a really powerful tool. The human voice is a deeply significant thing psychologically. It's incredibly empowering, and it's our way of announcing ourselves and saying, we're here, I exist, I live in this world, I want to make some noise. Okay, and for most of us, we take it for granted that we have control over this fantastic sound creation device, and for some young people, it's very difficult. And so to be able to take their sound and give them control over it in a creative and musical way is pretty awesome. And you should definitely try it with your students. A great icebreaker for introducing Skoog is to sample your own voice and allow students to make you sound like a chipmunk, make you sound like a whale, do different things, play around, explore the sound. One of the tips from yesterday's webinar in reference to working with autistic students was, leave your conceptions of what music is at the door. This is don't come with any preconceived ideas. Let the students lead you. Let you, explore the sound, explore the world of sound. Get involved, mess things around. Allow them to turn things on its head. It's there to be explored and create a context that they feel safe, and when they feel safe, they'll have fun and they will learn. Okay, so that's kind of sampling. If there are any, let me just check if we've got any questions that have come through on the Q&A app. Any questions that come through in the Q&A app? Not at the moment. There we go. So the thing that I'd like to do now is I'm going to leave the software here, and if there's any questions that come through, that's great, we can do that. Other questions that sometimes come up in relation to sampling, what would they be? Oh, something else that I've done that's been nice recently, and maybe we should do this is, sorry, samples is, no, not there. resources there, is samples. So I started looking at singing bowls. Now, yeah, that's a strike, and that's Tibetan bowl trimmed. So try to just load one of these sats in. So now I've got. Might do some of these singing bowl packs as well. I mean, just the singing bowl, the Tibetan singing bowl is such a rich and it's a really deep sound harmonically, and it has a lot of resonance and a lot of harmonic overtones and stuff, and is quite an easy sound to connect with physically. And this, you know, so what I've got here is I've got a single sound on there, and I've pitched it and done things with it, but it's a really nice sound to manipulate, and something that's really quite engaging and gives you that kind of texture, or a texture gradient that you can play around with. So we should do some stuff that way, but that's something that's worth playing around with. You know, try recording things. Really, another great idea is just taking a sound for a walk. So if you have access to a dictaphone, or you know, some way of recording is to go out in the open, go out to the playground, go out into the yard, or go on a journey that the students often go on, whether it's to the bus stop, whatever, and just record the journey, the sound of the journey. Okay, and you bring it back, get it into the computer off the USB stick or record it, whatever you need to do, and then you have the journey as a backing track, and you can start to play either characters, using voices, using sound effects, or notes, or instruments. You can actually use that sound of the environment and the environment you're passing through, and use that as a backing track. John calls it taking a sound for a walk, and I think that's a really, and again, you know, you can use that to contextualize different sounds, to help with desensitization, all kinds of issues. And do email us with your questions. Send stuff through. We're here to help, happy to advise, and looking, and also great to have suggestions and great to have input into resources. So this autism case study that I wanted to talk about it's drawn. It's actually published online in our case study section. It was a project by Lewis Forbes, who's now a very established Drake musician, a community musician, fantastic chap, and he's written a few resources for us. And this was part of his original thesis work. He was working, this was in a care centre up north, and he was working with a group of young chaps, and one chap, one young man, he couldn't get him to engage, which was rare for Lewis, because he's a really engaging person. He's incredibly sensitive, and he has that skill of being able to really relate to people and to seem to be able to engage with anyone. But this chap, he couldn't get him to come and touch the Skoog. I mean, normally, you know, touch the Skoog. Oh, mine's turned off. Let's put something on it. Touch the Skoog. Let's strings. So normally you have the Skoog, you show people touching or get to feel it, and you have that lovely sound. You have that lovely sound. Come on, load up. Oh, you're just not playing. There we go. You have a lovely sound. Just like that, which is lovely. There we go. And that's usually enough to engage someone, and then, you know, you structure a session and try and get into performance composition, or just to improvise, you know, empathetic improvisation, whatever it is, whatever your bag is, okay? But he couldn't get this young man to interact with Skoog, and actually what he found, what the assistant sort of noticed, is that he was really interested in the door handles. So he had these, I haven't got a door handle to hand, but you know, so he was clicking and clacking the door handle. He was focused on that. He was playing with it, and he couldn't get him away from it. And you know, he'd move from one door to another door, from one door to another door, and past the Skoog, but it was no interest to him. And so Lewis, being the clever chap that he is, you know, he was listening to that. And this is an important point, actually, is that with this kind of these kind of environmental adjustments that, you know, that people get involved in, it's not I think we've moved on a bit, but some people refer to as repeated behaviours, and it's not repeated behaviour. It's, if you listen carefully or look at what they're doing, what he sort of is, he was really playing with the door handle. He was adjusting it, playing in different ways, and it was a sound, that click-clack sound that he was getting, that was engaging and interesting for him. And what you're doing there, I mean, what you find, he's creating an auditory context and auditory environment that he's in control of by clicking, clacking the sound, and that he can control and regulate his sensory stimulus. So clever thing that Lewis was thought, well, let's take that sound, let's take the sound of the door handle, and let's sample it onto the Skoog. And so before the next session started, he went and recorded the click-clack of the handle, and he put it into the sampler. And initially he didn't pitch it at all, he just left it clean. And when the chap came in, he showed him, when he touched it, he got that sound, and that caught the guy's interest. He was like, all right, that's interesting. And then very much in a way as if, you know, it's actually, oh, so you've been listening to me. Okay, well then maybe I'll come and do something with you. I mean, another thing another practitioner pointed out is it's really important for you to play the Skoog as well, and not be a thing that it's just for this, just expecting the students to do it. It's important to show them that they can play. And it's important to show them that you can do it too. So it's not just them on their own. So he recorded the sound on and he put it on, and he didn't pitch it. He just left it as it was, and he showed the young man it, and immediately he was engaged and interested. And he started touching the Skoog, and they left it at that for that session. Next session, he pitched it, created a scale out of it, and then very soon he had him playing instruments and engaging and playing with others. And it's a great example of some lateral thinking, being aware of what's going on in the environment, be adaptive, be prepared to change stuff, don't get too locked into plans for sessions. Things can go lots and lots of different ways. So do be ready to change, be ready to kind of go, oh, okay, let's try something else. And that really works. So that's an example of using sampling in a autism context. And I'm going to go back to my broadcast here to turn my screen sharing off. There we go. Hey, there we are. So that's, I think, it brings things to a close for the webinar this afternoon. Bit of a short and sweet one, but just wanted to run through a couple of things in reference to sampling. I wanted to chat about that case study. You can download that online, and also very soon we're going to be releasing this set of tips on engaging in music with autistic young people from a colleague we work with at Outreach ASD. And keep an eye on the Facebook page and the website for lots of other good things. More webinars to follow. And if you've got a question, ask, and we'll do our very best to answer it. And if we can help, we will. So you take care now, and thanks for stopping by, and many other pleasantries to you wherever you are. Take care. See you soon.